Hello, welcome to the channel of Contemporary Literary Review India. Before I move ahead, please subscribe to our channel. Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to prepare research papers. For people in the academic field, it's important to know how to prepare research papers. This lecture is intended for the students at MA and PhD levels, and those who write academic papers for publishing in journals. So I begin with how to prepare high quality research papers. Title. Write better titles for the research papers. Write a meaningful title for your research papers. Your title should be as such that they give some glimpse of the topic, what you are going to discuss and describe. I have given some examples here. For example, if you want to write the title like Bhai Mukesh Bakshi, the detective, so it's better that you should write Bhai Mukesh Bakshi of Kolkata and the sleuth on the Baker Street. Second example is Professor Pashupati Jha's Taking on Tough Times. You can write this title in a better way, like a critical analysis on Professor Pashupati Jha's Taking on Tough Times. Similarly, another example is cultural scripts in C.B. Devakaruni's The Palace of Illusion. So you can write this as a replication of the cultural scripts in Chitra Banerjee Devakaruni's The Palace of Illusions. Abstract. Write an original abstract. I say an original, and this should be between 100 to 200 words. An abstract is actually a brief but an original write-up on a topic. Most of the research writers uh, make a mistake here in writing abstract. They simply copy a few paragraphs like 1, 2, 3 from the main body of the research paper, and they present it as an abstract. This is a completely wrong idea. You should better write an original abstract, and you should touch upon the points you describe or you mention in your research paper. For example, roughly your research paper would be divided into 4 to 5 sections. So you should be talking about something in brief from each section. Now you should be thinking like why actually this original abstract is required. This is required for two reasons. The first reason is to attract readers. An abstract is characterized by what the topic is all about, why you wrote the topic, and how it is interested for the readers. Just by reading the abstract of your paper, a reader can understand whether to read the topic in full and whether the topic is worth recording. Worth recording means that if this should be they should be reading your paper for reference for their own paper. Second important thing is indexing. Nowadays, most of the journals, whether they are print or online, They register or index themselves with libraries or online journal directories. And to get indexed, each research topic must have an abstract along with the keywords central to the topic importance. The journal directories generally catalog the abstract in a similar way as a book cover. Without an abstract, the research papers would fetch the first few words of the main article topic that most often may mismatch the searched keywords. This will obviously leave a bad impact on your papers and lose out the readers. To know more about how to write an abstract in a better way, you can go to this portal which I have mentioned here, that is writingcenter.unc.edu slash handouts slash abstracts. There you can read about how to write better keywords, and there are so many examples there, so you can learn it there. The next point is keywords. Write explanatory and coherent keywords. Try to write at least 5 to 6 keywords for your research paper, unless there is some direction from journals that you should be writing only so many keywords. Try to narrow down your keywords central to your topic. Do not use broader keywords like Shakespearean drama. Instead of this Shakespearean drama, you should better write Shakespearean history drama, or Shakespearean comedy drama, or likewise Shakespearean romance drama. Actually, by adding just a single word like history, romance, or comedy, you narrow down your topic to the central idea or area. Don't write diaspora, just this is a very wider concept. Mention like Indian diaspora or Indian American diaspora. This is even better. Indian American diaspora. This means that okay, Indians who have taken citizenship or who have settled down in America. Likewise, do not prefer to write Bengali literature. This is a very wide canon. Better write as Sunil Gangopadhyay's Bengali literature. This will actually narrow down once again to the central idea what you are going to explain. Or you can better write modern Bengali literature. This means that you are fixing the period. Similarly, don't mention like folk songs. Better write as Punjabi folk songs. Because there are so many cultures in India and across the world, and if you write folk songs means which folk song? That is too large concept. If you say Punjabi folk songs or Assamia folk songs, this means that you are going to describe about that only. Write coherent keywords. That means all the keywords should be correlated. One keyword should not be longer than 4 words or 5 words, something like that. Avoid abbreviation in keywords. Do not write plurals if just for the sake of writing plurals. But there are conditions that you have to present in plural only. That is another case. But generally, do not write like just this example, keywords. This is a very general concept. So better write keyword. Use lower case unless it's a proper noun. Do not use italics or bold type. Here I have given a few examples how to write keywords. Like in the first example, I have written by Mukesh Bakshi, detective stories, Feluda stories, Satyajit Ray, Saradindu Bandyopadhyay, Bengali literature, and Indian English literature. This means that, okay, how you can see that, okay, the topics, the touch points are in increasing order. So it becomes coherent. In the next example is illustration as inter-semiotic translation, Odia literature, illustration, a promotional tool, Bichitra Desha Ray Alice, Biswa Sahitya, Indian literature. Once again, you can see that, okay, the keywords are going in ascending order. That means from lower topic to wider range. This way, the keywords become coherent, correlated to the topic and concept idea. Research paper. Now we come to the main body part. Generally, try to divide your research paper, that is main body, into at least 4 to 5 sections. Uh, Try to name the first section as introduction and the last one as conclusion. Generally, this model is followed for science papers, but still I recommend that this model is preferable for any discipline, even for literary papers. One, in case you think that, okay, you are not exactly going to divide into this model like introduction and conclusion, then at least you should try to divide into 4 to 5 section with some proper heading that should be central to the topic. And one important thing is use quotations amply. That means you should be using quotation more often. Now we would be discussing about how to make research papers original. When you are writing any research paper, you should use citation more often in ample number. Citations may be in-text citation, footnote, endnote. Your research topic is actually an original concept that you have to prove as worthy. Suppose you conceive an idea and write a large paper, say in 10 pages or more even, without any citation. Such a topic will be nothing more than an essay, but certainly not a research article. Citation is a referencing method in the body of articles in addition to bibliography. You should not be confused with bibliography. To validate your idea, you have to insert in-text citation from the existing works, be they books, journals, newspaper articles, or website materials. Typically, by copyright laws, any author or research scholars can quote from any available materials they base their subject on freely without asking for the permission from authors or publishers. Why I have mentioned this here? Because most of the times research scholars, particularly new research scholars, think that, okay, if they use citation or they directly copy any content from different sources, and for that they need some prior written permission from authors or publishers. Actually, this is not correct. You can copy content from any sources, but you have to use in-text citation. That means you have to say that you have taken this information from so and so book or from so and so resources. Yes, but you can't do this like you have entirely copied the entire material. Not like that. But yes, while you are writing, then you need to cite quotations from different sources to make your paper worthwhile. And for that, you are absolutely free to quote or copy any content from different sources. Why citation is required? Using citation properly is very important. It shows that you have done research thoroughly and properly. Your concept is new, but it's many for and against views. So to prove your point distinct, to give due credit to previous researchers and authors, and most importantly, to avoid plagiarism that makes your paper original, to help readers to refer and study the source materials to prepare their own research ideas later on. Now, you should be thinking for what purposes we should be using citation, that is citation for. You must cite for everything that you take from other sources, be they ideas, words, phrases, figures, images, reports, theories, findings, anything. Then citation from means where you can take citations from any sources like articles, chapters, journals, magazines, books, websites, anywhere, even blog. And nowadays, even YouTube has become a very important source for citation. Citation elements. When you are creating citation, you should remember these things: authors' names, titles of articles, journals, magazines, books. That means you are taking your content from, publication date, page numbers, issue numbers. Generally, issue numbers means this is valid for journals and magazines. Generally, it is not valid for books. This next topic is how to write references or bibliography. There are various styles for references, such as MLA, that is Modern Language Association, APA, that is American Psychological Association, ACS, that is American Chemical Society, and then IEEE, and there are many others. At the same time, there are some variants in each style. Generally, what we find in research papers that research scholars, while preparing their research papers, they simply copy bibliography from different sources and they use that list in their research paper. Actually, when you are going to use bibliography and research references, you should create a list in a separate sheet, and then you should see that if they are following a single style, you should make them uniform. So if there are variances even in MLA style, then you should make them uniform. And these styles are actually followed for different disciplines. MLA is followed for humanities, APA for science topics, and IEEE for electronic engineering. So for English literature, you should always base your research papers on MLA style guide. Next point is what mistakes generally people make. Generally, people copy the bibliography references from various sources and use them as such. Because of this, we find different styles in the references for a single paper. So it's ideally correct that you should actually format your bibliography in a uniform format. One. Here I have given some examples here. While you are actually writing a bibliography for two authors, then you can write like this: Maclean, Bettany, and Better Elkine, the smartest guys in the room, the amazing rise and scandalous fall of Enron. New York, that is city or place, and then publication house, then air. You should note that how I have used punctuations. If you are using references for single author, then write this way in the second example, that is edited book. So if the book has been compiled or edited by someone else, so you have to actually mention the editor's or compiler's name. To know more about citation in details, I have given one a resource here, that is lib, that is for a library, libguides.mit.edu/citing. Here you can go and read um, uh, good things for how to cite or write bibliography. Next point is plagiarism. Plagiarism is actually making already published material written by some other writers as yours. Avoid this. If you ever use the content or extract from a topic, you are free to use it but quote it and give due credit to the author you quote in citation and bibliography. Yes, here one catch is, when you are actually using in-text citation or endnote or footnote, whatever, you always remember to include that citation in your bibliography as well. Many times we receive materials, especially research papers and theses, which have been borrowed from other writers without proper credit. Many authors, in fact, think that they can do away with the copied item. But to tell you the truth, many journals, magazines, and publications have plagiarism checker of various kinds and can easily verify the submitted materials, whether they are original or copied. To avoid plagiarism, it is better that you use the extract in quotes. Give reference to the source material through primary and secondary sources. If you are not sure, get your paper checked by plagiarism checking agencies for a fee. That is also available nowadays. Grow your writing career. This is a very important concept. In academic field, once you are a scholar, you are a scholar for life. When you are at PhD level, you would be writing research papers. But later on, you may be writing some books or some other materials, thesis paper or dissertation. Even after you join as a lecturer or professor, you should continuously be writing some research papers. This means that you will always be writing some research papers throughout your life. So, grow some good habits. The first one is editing. Your research paper must be well edited and proofread. If your paper has several grammatical mistakes, publisher would not waste their time editing your paper. Howsoever well written your paper may be, it's your responsibility that you get it edited by some experienced persons who have excellent knowledge of grammar and editing, or by some professional editors. Yes, you may be investing some money here, but that is a good way how to grow as a good writer. Formatting is another important concept. Nowadays, formatting is also being considered as a very important part for research paper. Different journals and magazines may be publishing in different format. So it's advisable that you should visit the journals where you are aiming to publish and see which format they are using or basing their research papers. So you should try to format your research paper likewise. Join some research organizations. There are several research organizations where you can become a member for free. I have cited some of the research organizations and platforms. First one is ORCID. When you think that okay, you have finished your research paper, then you should go to ORCID and register your paper there. After registering, you will get a digital identifier for your research paper, and then you can submit your material anywhere. At the same time, you can quote your digital identifier there. You should become a member at ResearchGate and Google Scholar also. That means after publication, you should go there and include your material, that is indexing. Index your material there so that your profile for literary journal becomes stronger. Next point is distribute publication news. After publication with any journal or organization, you should distribute your materials on various social media platforms. There you should mention the heading of your paper and along with the URL from the journal so that more and more people can visit your paper and read it. As many people visit there, your readership will grow likewise. This way you will create your presence or footprint in the digital world as well. This is a very important part because people will come across your research paper only through such activities. At the same time, there are several prizes and awards happening. You should search for them and visit there. You should nominate or submit your materials to different awards and prizes. There are some prizes and awards where there is no fee at all. There are several others where you have to pay a fee. You should always try to nominate yourself and participate in such awards and prizes. This may be possible that you may be wasting some money there, but in some your paper would be rated high or you will even win some prizes. This will bring very strong credibility to your scholarly stand. Thank you.